United States Navy, and I was discharged as a third-class petty officer. The job classification was aviation electronics technician. I also had some experience overseas. Now, granted, the Korean War was going on, but when I joined the Navy, they put me in what they called the Atlantic Command. So the whole time I was in, my responsibilities were in the Atlantic Fleet and the Atlantic Air Arm. So I never got to go over in the Pacific side, because the Navy had a two-ocean Navy at that time. And a lot of the ships in the Atlantic Fleet also went into the Mediterranean and went to ports there. I got transferred to London in 1952 and was stationed at a old Spitfire blade. It's called Hendon, and it was there we did maintenance on the transportation planes that we were using in the European theater. Mostly for us at Hendon were what you know as DC-3s. Navy called them R5Ds, R4Ds rather, and they were the largest plane that could land at this Spitfire base, because it was only designed for the aircraft from the British used in World War II. We couldn't all live on the base because there wasn't enough room. So we were billeted in the civilian area of London. We were on our own, and we banded together in groups. There were three of us that rented a house, and we actually commuted to work when we were in London. Later, in early '53, they needed some technicians down in Naples, where we had a detachment, and that was also a transport squadron. And so I was transferred there, and the situation was the same. We were at Capodichino, which was the airfield for not only the Navy, but the Italian civilians and the Italian military. Again, not enough barracks to accommodate us. So I ended up living with an Italian family all the time that I was stationed in Naples. I mentioned before about the fleet going to the Mediterranean. We were there to service the fleet, and we were eventually given the designation of a Fleet Air Service Squadron. And interestingly, there are torpedo planes from World War II there. They were converted to carry mail instead of torpedoes to land on the carriers in the 6th Fleet, so that the sailors on board could get their mail and then would be transferred to the rest of the squadron, the destroyers and what have you that accompany a carrier. So we had regular trips from our base out to the carriers with mail that came from the United States and went to the sailors aboard. Well, it's a squadron that was there to provide services to the 6th Fleet when they were in active duty, and like I say, we delivered mail to them. If their aircraft needed assistance, they'd be flown to our base and we would work on their aircraft. We also had one of the admirals had a plane that was stationed at our base, just like you have Air Force One for the president. Well, we had an aircraft for the admiral that was in charge of Southern Europe at that time.